That is right. Elon Musk is to rescue 2 astronauts that are stuck in space. And guess who built the spacecraft? You guessed it, Boeing. After all the recent criticism, Boeing finally still did not do anything right. Experienced Boeing Starliner astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams are stuck in space and are not set to return home until February 2025. The two have extensive history, and their families believe the decision to keep them there was ultimately for their best safety. Who's to the rescue? Elon is to the rescue. Shout out to everybody watching. Drop your comments down below. Really appreciate you guys. Smash the like button if you kindly would. What was supposed to be an 8-day trip in space turned into a months. They're not set to come home until February 2025. They said, the astronaut said, listen, we are not coming home until Kamala Harris does an interview with the media. You're in luck, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, because Kamala Harris is doing an interview soon. Wilmore and Williams have been on the International Space Station since engineers discovered helium leaks and issues involving thrusters shortly after the Boeing CST-100 Starliner docked, which prompted NASA and Boeing to investigate. Guys, let's just be frank here. If you Google Boeing, it's what I did prior to this video. There are so many claims against Boeing. Recently, a Boeing tire, I guess, exploded and killed 2 people and injured another person. This is simply just on the Google page. Astronauts stuck in space because of Boeing. Boeing 737 MAX mechanic was on vacation during critical door plunge work. Alaskan Airlines Boeing flight returns to airport following engine issues. 2 days that led to Boeing's near mid-air disaster. If you're flying Boeing, you got something funky going on. Now, Boeing officials are absolutely humiliated after NASA announced that the 2 astronauts who have been stranded at the International Space Station by the company's troubled Starliner space capsule will have to be rescued by none other than Elon Musk, their rival at SpaceX. We'll have to wait another 6 months until SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft can carry them home safely because the original ride was leaking helium and had problems with the thruster.
The Boeing employees are humiliated after NASA announced that these 2 astronauts who they took up to the International Space Station now have to come back an alternate way using their rival SpaceX. So what happened was that NASA sent these 2 astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, up on the inaugural flight of their Starliner, which was meant to be their new transport to and from the space station and beyond. But once they got up there, there were some problems, and there was a helium leak, and NASA had to decide whether this starcraft was going to be able to come back safely through the atmosphere or whether it was going to pose a great danger to these 2 astronauts. NASA finally decided over the weekend that no, this Starliner was not going to be fit to transport 2 humans back to Earth. So they had to call on Boeing's primary rival, which is SpaceX. And that has sent shockwaves among all the Boeing employees. They say they're embarrassed, they're humiliated, they're horrified. They even said it's just like their worst enemy is having to bail them out, to the point where a lot of these engineers, a lot of these payload specialists, all these people who work for Boeing are now thinking, is it time for us to jump ship?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is definitely time to jump ship because there have been a lot of crazy malfunctions going on with Boeing.
Because Boeing has had all these problems lately, including a dozen whistleblowers, a couple of them which have ended up dead. And adding all that together to this really public embarrassment that their first space mission on this Starliner has been such a failure. For their part, Boeing's really not talking publicly about it. They're not saying, you know, gee, we screwed up. In fact, their basic party line is there's really nothing to see here. We think that this Starliner is fine, that people can come back safely. But NASA doesn't believe it. And what NASA doesn't want is 2 dead astronauts. So NASA is going the cautious route, and that is sending shockwaves among the Boeing executives. So we will see what happens with the NASA and Boeing contracts going forward with this. This is a really great thing for SpaceX.
I don't even know why NASA agreed to sign on Boeing for particular contracts. After seeing their previous history, why would you even sign somebody?
It's a really terrible thing for Boeing. And for NASA, they're just trying to keep these 2 astronauts safe. So these 2 astronauts were supposed to be on an 8-day mission, and now they're in the 2nd month of it, and they have 6 more months to go. So they're going to be in space for 8 months for a mission that was supposed to take just about a week. So this is a massive deal for Boeing. It's a setback for them. It's embarrassing for them. And it's really going to make NASA have to think twice before they send other astronauts up using Boeing spacecraft.
Golly, 100%. Poor astronauts. They are stuck in space and nobody seems to be talking about it. Did you guys know that there were astronauts stuck in space? Elon to the rescue. Shout out to Elon. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this fiasco. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.